I've had a few weeks with the Geekom X14 Pro and also the Geekom X16 Pro, and those are the two essentially lightest weight for their class Ultrabook type style laptops that you can get because they have a magnesium alloy body. Now the X14 Pro, it's got an OLED, and it is a thing of beauty. The slightly larger 16-inch model just has an IPS screen. There are pros and cons to each, but what I want to do in this video is talk about both of these different computers. They have the same basic hardware options with maybe just a couple small differences. I don't know, it's like preference to the screen and a few other things. So let's kind of dive in and I'll break it down piece by piece and talk about which laptop I prefer and why the one I prefer might not be the one that's right for you. Because I'm going to tell you why I prefer the one I like. And you might look at that and be like, okay, I see what you like, but I need something else and I prefer the other one. So we're all right here. Everyone is going to be right at the end of this video. There's no wrong answers because the correct flavor is the one that you like and the one that's best for you. Before we do that, look at all my beautiful games. This is my PC game collection, but it's also a whole bunch of shirts that I'm going to be doing for 70, 80% off. Also, the hardware and the mouse pads, use coupon code HAPPYHARDWARE and you'll get 50% off that. I'm trying to clear up the shelves as much as possible. Now, these prices are only going to be for the stuff I have here on the shelf. There's a few things that are print on demand, like this one. Those prices will not be changing, but you can go on there and grab just all kinds of t-shirts. I've got all kinds of good stuff left over there. I want more room for my games. Now, you're gonna have to pay a little bit of shipping, but if you grab multiple things, maybe some hardware, maybe some of these, well, that's gonna help a lot. Also, I've got a bunch of games I'm not taking with me, and some of them I've just got duplicates of. They're actually really good games. So I'll throw some of those into the boxes if you order a few things and there's extra room in the box and it doesn't cost me an extra several dollars. I'll throw some games in there. So I'll be giving away that, and I'm also going to be giving away random just stuff from the office that I don't need, little bits of hardware. And then the more premium hardware I'm going to put on the used category over here. If you just come to epicpants.com and scroll down the page about halfway, you'll see there's a used category. I got microphones, handheld consoles, got a few copies of Windows on here. Look at that, Windows 98 sealed in the box. The idea is I take care of you with some good sale prices, and you take care of me by getting this stuff off my shelf so I have a little more room. Head over to epicpants.com, and now on to our regularly scheduled program. Before we get deep into this, I'm going to go through the specs on both of these. They're the same. You can get them in the same options. You got the Intel Core Ultra U5 125H and the U9 185H. There's something nice about this. This is like not the brand newest Core Ultras, but they do have the big core, little core, so you get all kinds of cores, all kinds of threads with both of these, the U5 and the U9. It's enough to run your computer and run VMs on top of that. And I install Linux, and you can do all of those types of things with this just fine. Now, one of the nice things about these cores is that they're very efficient, even though they have lots and lots of cores, anywhere but, between 15, 16 hours battery life. We also have 32 gigabytes of memory. It's soldered onto the motherboard on both of these. And the performance is very similar. I think I got a couple extra FPS in a couple of the games on the X16 Pro, and then 1 or 2 FPS better on the X14 Pro and some of the other games, but we're just going to say that the performance is very, very similar. So if you're looking at this and trying to figure out which one performs better, a lot of times people think the bigger one performs better. No, the bigger one just has a bigger battery life and a bigger screen, so you can physically see it easier. So that's the CPU. It also has the Intel Arc graphics, which will allow you to play games. And which one's better for games? We'll get to that very, very soon. You got Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.4. We also have webcam on this. Both of them have a physical toggle to turn off the webcam, whether it's the hardware or a physical toggle to block the webcam. We've got that on both of them. They both have AI processing on the inside as well, and they have that goofy, Microsoft Copilot button on the keyboard, which is nice to have another button because you can remap that to whatever. Let's go to the first thing that's really the big difference between the two. It's like the biggest difference for me, and it's the reason I've decided to go with the X14 Pro, and that's the screen. The OLED is beautiful. The IPS is also really, really pretty. They're both 120 hertz as well. So on the 16-inch model, you got 1920 by 1200. And it's a good screen. That's all you need. I like that one for one reason. You don't really need to do a lot of scaling on that because 16 inches looks just fine at that resolution. So no scaling needed. All of the menus and stuff look perfect and everything's nice and crisp on that screen. If you're doing editing and stuff, it's also nice and vibrant for that. However, over on the X14 Pro, you do need to do scaling because that one is 2880 by 1440. So a higher resolution OLED screen. Now, there's pros and cons to this. Let me give you the pros in my opinion first. First off, it's really pretty to look at, this OLED. I don't think that I care about having that high of a resolution, because at the distances that I sit, I cannot see the pixels. So this is like you can get really up close, you're not going to see the pixels. It's sort of the, Apple coined the term retina effect, because, it's all about how far away you are from the device, but it's really difficult to see the pixels. We also have 450 nits as far as the brightness goes on that one. You can run some scaling, which you kind of have to run like 200% scaling to make it look okay. But one of the things that I like personally about this is the fact that you can game at half resolution and you're running 1440 by 900. A lot of programs seem to support this. It always shows up in my menus. Now 1440 by 900, it runs a lot faster and it looks perfect. It looks native, because when you do half resolution, it just takes each individual pixel and turns it into 4 pixels on the screen. So you're not getting any stretching or bending or weirdness. It's like essentially a native, like another native resolution. So running it like that and playing my games, still got the high refresh rate, still got the OLED, but running at 1440 by 900 means much faster gameplay. You're not throwing nearly as many pixels into your eyeballs, so you don't have near as much to drive. And that's why I ended up going with this one, because a lot of the games I wanted to play run a little bit faster when you run them at 1440 by 900. It's not that much different when you compare the 1920 by 1200 speed of the games on the X16 Pro, but a little bit, I'll take it. And what's funny is almost all the games I've been playing on this lately are Unreal Tournament from 1999. So it doesn't even matter. I don't need the extra FPS horsepower, but whatever. The next thing I'm probably going to play is this. Just here on my desk, just waiting in line. Sort of a cyberpunk style click adventure. Anyway, so that's the big difference, and that's the main reason I went with the X14 Pro. Now, let's talk about the next thing, and that's the keyboard. So the X14 Pro versus the X16 Pro, the X16 Pro keyboard, it pretty much wins hands down, because we have a much fuller keyboard. But if you want the full keyboard with the number pad, the X16 Pro is much cooler in that regard. As far as the feel goes, they have this magnesium soft touch coating, or this magnesium alloy body with the soft touch coating, so they both feel really good, but they feel different than a lot of laptops. The soft touch coating feels, it's hard to explain. It doesn't feel like you're touching plastic. It doesn't feel like you're touching metal. It's somewhere. It's like if they made a metal and wax alloy and made it super smooth and then made it feel like air. If that makes any sense. No, probably not. It's lightweight and it feels good, okay? So as far as the touchpads go, I don't like touchpads, period, on any devices, but these are fine. They're okay. Using 2 fingers to move up and down is just, fine, whatever. So yeah, if you really care about keyboards, and that's the main thing, X16 Pro is probably slightly ahead. Now, when it comes to battery life, the X16 Pro is also a little bit ahead there. 17-hour battery life on that one versus around a 16-hour battery life on the X14 Pro. So very similar, maybe just like an extra hour on the other one. So you do have just like a slightly bigger battery on the X16 Pro because there's more room for it, but it does make it slightly heavier. Okay, the X14 Pro is 2.2 pounds and 0.23 inches. It is the lightest laptop of this style and this size that I have ever touched by quite a margin. I tried to look around and see what I could find. The only thing I can find is like a tablet. That's it. You could tablets, but they have those stupid floppy keyboards. This is a real laptop. It's got a real keyboard. So 2.2 pounds, 0.23 inches, and the 16 inch is also like kind of the best in its class. When it comes to this, it's 2.8 pounds and 0.27 inches. So they're both extremely minimal and extremely sleek. Now you get an extra USB port and some other stuff on the X16 Pro. So that one has more ports built into it, but the X14 Pro comes with this little dongle right here. It's got an extra HDMI, a few more ports. I kind of like the dongle, but that's just something that you have to make sure you don't lose. So for different use cases, here's what I would pick. If you want to do like gaming, and it depends on what games you want to play, the 16-inch screen at 1920 by 1200 is nice and big. If you're sitting back a little bit, I do like the look of the bigger screen. However, the OLED it just looks better. You put them side by side and the OLED just kind of pops. It looks better. Unreal Tournament 99 why did it look so good? I don't understand. A game this old is not supposed to look this good. Also, CRT filters and stuff look really good on the OLED. So I do think I like that one better for gaming, the 14-inch. plus the resolution. Now, when it comes to productivity, I do like the just extra space that you get on the 16-inch model, just having a little bit more space, like when you open up Premiere or I don't know, whatever else, Blender or something. I think you can see more. It's just easier to see on a bigger screen. The other thing is not doing scaling may be better than having to have a super high resolution, but also have to have scaling. If you want more real estate when it comes to like menus and stuff, and you just want, I guess, a bigger screen so it's easier to see stuff, X16 Pro is a really good way to go. But again, I thought that the X14 looked pretty good. And sometimes I do go in and mess with the scaling a little bit if I'm like, I want to see more stuff on the screen. So I'll mess with the scaling. And then when I open up my program, whatever it is, I've got my menus are smaller. I have to like go and adjust it. Sometimes they're too small. Sometimes they're just right. But I kind of hate scaling, but I'm getting used to messing around with it. All right, when it comes to like how loud they are, both of these are quiet and loud at the same time. It's kind of weird. But they both have 3 different modes that you can toggle between if you're using the included Windows 11. And you can just do that by, I think it's the function key and P. You change between efficient, like cooling mode or quiet mode, and then your just normal mode, and then your performance mode. Performance mode, the fans get really loud, like way too loud. It's kind of goofy because they're keeping the CPU too cool. And I found that both of these have really aggressive tuning to make sure that the CPU stays way cooler than it needs to be. So they're both a little bit aggressive with the fans. However, for most use cases, 99% of the time, you can put it into quiet mode and it runs just fine. Even doing like productivity editing and gaming, I just keep it in quiet mode to keep the fans down. Sometimes you put it in the middle, like balanced or whatever. I forget what it's called in the middle, but put it there and it's not too bad. But yeah, performance mode, just fans are loud on both of these, equally loud. So it's just a tuning issue. Maybe we'll get an update that'll make that a little bit different. So for me, when it comes to just like grabbing a laptop and being able to carry it around all day and not think about charging, kind of a no-brainer. These things have been really great. I've got mine completely decked out right now. I've been messing around with Linux this week. So if you want another video, I'll let you know how it is after. I'm going to be traveling soon, so I'll let you know how it is. Just traveling around, I've got Cache OS on there. And fully configured, and it's working great. So I can make another video on that if you like. As it is now, I'm kind of curious which version would meet your needs. Which one is the one that you would go with? So let me know that down in the comments. See you there.